Hi guys, welcome to Diary of a Young Mum. I'm Cindy, your host. Let's talk about it. Today we have a special guest. We have a young lady who owns a fitness business and a CIC. She is also a CBT therapist. She got pregnant at the tender age of 21 and now has a 14-year-old, the one and only Talisa Mesquita. So thanks Talisa for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
I would like to ask you about when you fell pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
What was everyone's reaction and how did you deal with that?
So when I fell pregnant, because I was in my final year of uni,
Yeah.
and obviously I was 21. Hadn't been with my daughter's dad for a long time, so I was scared to tell my mum
Yeah.
because, not to say that she put a lot of pressure on me, but I felt like there was a lot of expectations on me to obviously do well. I was in uni, so I didn't tell my mum. I told my auntie to tell my mum for me
Okay, yeah.
because I just knew that she would be upset and she'd be a bit disappointed. So it took me a good probably 6-7 weeks before I actually told my mum that I was pregnant because I just knew she wasn't going to be happy.
Yeah.
That's not what she wanted for me. Because I went to grammar school, so
Okay.
my mum had kind of put a lot of time and
Yeah.
effort into making sure that I didn't kind of, not saying make the same mistakes as her, because my mum was a teen mum as well.
Okay.
She had me at 19, so I was, I guess, supposed to be the one who broke the cycle, but obviously I didn't. So I just didn't want to disappoint her.
Yeah.
But to be fair, she took the news quite. No, she didn't take it well. She was obviously pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, of course.
But you know, she was like, whatever it is you want to do, obviously I'm going to support you. So she was fine. My dad
Yes.
was happy about it. My dad was like
Okay.
happier than I thought he should be because, hello, I'm in uni. Why are you happy that I'm having a baby?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I can.
that's just
Yeah.
my dad.
So, was there any negative words said to you or anything like that that really like hit deeply when you first found out you was pregnant?
Ye- Not yeah, I guess it was just, I suppose, the kind of usual, or not, you kind of ruined your life.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't what you'd planned. This is not what the plan was. The plan was for you to go to uni, get your career, and then think about having kids. So it was kind of along those lines, like, you've ruined your life basically.
And how did you feel when you first found out you was pregnant? Like, was you happy? Was you sad? Like, how did you generally feel about the pregnancy?
Um, I wouldn't say I was happy. It was a situation where I was with my daughter's dad, and he had been unfaithful to me, and then we got back together and he really wanted a baby.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm in uni, I'm in my final year of uni, I don't
Yeah.
want to have a baby. But you know how it goes, you're young and you're naive. And I was like, okay, I won't take my pill for a few days, and then if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
And just my luck, I got pregnant. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was just like, oh, damn, what have I done?
So
kind of
this was
thing.
planned. This half planned, half unplanned.
Yeah, it was kind of just like,
Yeah.
see what happens.
Okay. Yeah.
And to be fair, I didn't think I would get pregnant because, as I said, I was taking the pill, like, I take it for a few days and then miss it for a few days.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I thought, oh, I'll be fine. So when I did actually get pregnant, I was annoyed at myself. I was like, why have I gone and done this for when this wasn't my plan?
Yeah.
I wanted to finish uni because I did a psychology degree. So I wanted to finish uni and then go and do like my clinical psychology to become a clinical psychologist. And I was like, oh, that's kind of gone out the window now.
Yeah. So did you end up completing your degree then?
Yeah, so I did finish my degree. It was really difficult because the relationship was not great at all.
Yeah.
But I did manage to finish it. So I graduated when I was like 7 months pregnant.
Okay.
And then I had my daughter. So I graduated in the July, had my daughter in the September. So I did manage to finish it.
So did anyone underestimate that, or did anyone think that you wasn't going to finish your degree because you had fell pregnant?
Not that I know of. No one kind of said anything. I think because they know the type of person that I am.
Yeah.
I get things done. Like if I say I'm going to do it, I'll do it. So by hook or by crook, I was going to get that degree kind of thing. There was times during like the last few months on my degree where things were really tough just because there was other things going on in my life. Like my uncle was sick, my granddad was sick, my cousin was sick, and then obviously boyfriend was cheating on me again. So everything was just all over the place. So there were times where I doubted myself, but I did. Managed to get through it.
So how did you deal with that? And do you feel like, your mental health and your physical health was affected because of everything that was going on
Yeah.
top of being pregnant at the time?
To be fair, I don't know. Like that whole period of time for me was a bit of a blur. Like when I think back to it now, I can't really remember
Yeah.
it. I think because I was just in that survival mode. Like I knew I just
Mm-hmm.
had to get through it. I just kind of blocked everything out and just kept going. So when people ask me that, like, how did you get? I honestly, I don't know. I do remember times when I was really anxious,
Yeah.
and I remember like not say having panic attacks, but feeling really anxious.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think I knew I had to get through it. Like there was no ifs or buts. I wasn't gonna fail because I didn't want to let myself down. I didn't want to
Okay.
let other people down. So I knew I had to do it.
When you say, like you can't really remember, was it like you felt like you was there but you wasn't there?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I completely
100%.
understand that because with my first baby, in
Yeah.
fact, this was after I gave birth to him.
Okay.
I went through a stage for a few weeks when
Yeah.
he was like firstborn where I felt like I was there but I
Yeah.
wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it was a crazy feeling. And I'm
Yeah.
hearing all the noise of like all the family and stuff. Everyone's talking. They're like, oh my gosh, he's here,
Yeah.
he's cute and stuff. But I felt like I was there, but I wasn't there. I was like in my own kind of world and it just didn't feel real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, that feeling is crazy.
Yeah. And you know what? Since I've kind of become qualified as a psychotherapist, I know that that was my body and my mind kind of protecting me from, I guess, all the trauma that was going on around
Okay,
me.
yeah.
So when you are like going through a really anxiety provoking situation, you kind of have this dissociation.
Yeah.
So your mind and your body kind of separate to keep
Okay,
you.
so that must have been what
Yeah,
happened to me.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And I bet it's been really helpful, like actually studying that in depth and understanding it. And obviously, you
100%.
can also help others understand.
Yeah,
Would you
definitely.
say, from a professional perspective,
Hmm.
would you say that there's a certain way that's, like good to deal with
Yeah.
this kind of feeling?
Um, I try because sometimes it even happens now. I know when I am feeling really kind of overwhelmed, I do dissociate a little bit. So um, what we kind of teach people is to be really mindful. So practice being mindful, being in the
Okay.
moment, taking notice of what's around you.
Mm-hmm.
So really trying to be in tune, even what's happening in your body. So focusing on your breathing.
Yeah.
What can you hear? What can you see? What can you smell? What
Mm-hmm.
can you touch?
Okay.
So when I notice that I might be dissociating, or if people who I'm working with, if they suffer from this kind of
Mm-hmm.
dissociation, really encourage them to just try and practice mindfulness.
Okay, yeah. And I'm aware, obviously, that now you have a 14-year-old. Tell me how that is. Like, I literally, like, when I literally met you, I was like, there's
Yeah.
no way she's got a 14-year-old. Like, she looks so young. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, like, how is this? And I bet you
It's
get this a lot
hard.
as well.
Yeah. You know what? People always think the baby years are the hardest, but teenagers, this is the
Yeah.
ghetto. Teenagers, they will push you to the extremes. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't get any easier. The challenges just change. Because she thinks we're the same age.
Yeah.
She calls me bro. She calls me bruh. I'm like, I'm not your bro. I'm not your
Yeah.
bro. I'm your mom. And it's nice being close in age, but also like you need to respect me because I'm your mom.
Mm.
And she doesn't like that when I try and remind her that I'm your mom because she's taller than me as well now.
Okay.
So she's
Mm.
like looking down at me,
Yeah.
like I'm like, Kiara, I'm your mom. She's like, yeah, but you're smaller than me. I'm just like, yeah, but I'm still your mom. Like,
Yeah. So, do you get a bit of attitude from
oh
her?
yeah,
And
definitely.
how do you deal with that?
I'd block her phone. Block her
Like,
phone. That's my bargaining chip now.
yeah.
Like, if she does something, says something out of line, I'll be like, you know what? Let me go on my app, just block the phone. And then when you feel like, you can come to me and
Yeah.
apologize, then I might consider letting you have your phone back.
Yeah.
So,
So that sounds quite interesting, actually. And I can just only imagine what the conversations and the vibe and everything behind closed
yeah,
doors. But it must be so beautiful at the same
yeah,
time
it
as
is.
well.
It is.
And would you say, like, you're very grateful that you did fall pregnant, like, and
100%.
yeah.
She is definitely my greatest achievement. I've got a kind of a few accolades, but she is by far my greatest achievement. She's such a caring, kind, considerate, smart. She's beautiful, and as much as she gives me attitude, she's amazing.
Yeah. So, in terms of your businesses, because I know you own a few businesses, so
Yeah.
you've got a sports business.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So I'm a personal trainer.
Okay.
And I offer fitness classes and PT sessions, but it's women only. And that kind of came about from my own experiences.
Okay.
So, as I said, I was in a DV relationship, and it took
Okay.
me a long time to kind of say that I was in a DV relationship. When people used to ask me, I'll be like, oh, yeah, it was really toxic. Like, it was only through actually going through counseling and really kind of reflecting on it, it was an abusive relationship.
Okay.
So there were points in that relationship where he was really controlling, and like he wouldn't let me go to the gym. He was like, "Why are you going to the gym so other men can look at you?" and things like stupid things like that.
Yeah.
So when that relationship ended, I was like, I want to start going to the
Mm-hmm.
gym to build my confidence up. So I started going to fitness classes,
Okay. Yeah.
and then I met someone. So I got into a relationship, and he really kind of encouraged me and pushed me into kind of that way of life.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, it really helped get me to gain
Mm-hmm.
confidence. It made me to feel more um, more self assured.
Okay. So after experiencing, the issues with your relationship and stuff, and
Yeah.
then eventually starting the gym,
Hmm.
and meeting your partner there,
Yeah.
what is that? So what happened in between then and starting your sports business, like, and
Yeah.
how did you start that? And yeah, what was the process?
So at that time, I was doing my second degree, so I was doing mental health nursing.
Yeah.
Um, and then as I got more into like the fitness side of
Yeah.
things and seeing how much being in the gym, being
Mm.
active, exercising helped my mental health, I knew that at some point I wanted to kind of use that to help other women because I saw how much it had helped me
Okay.
in
Yeah.
my situation
Yeah.
with my mental health. So I finished my mental health degree, and then I think it was maybe a year or two after I decided to then do a PT qualification because
Okay. You've got a lot of qualifications. I'm there like
yeah.
trying to keep track. I don't think I've got enough space on my hands to keep track of all this. Now, this is
Yeah,
amazing. And
yeah.
it's so inspiring as well. And I'm
Thank
sure
you.
so much women are going to be
Yeah.
inspired from you,
Oh, thank you.
to have completed so much different things.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so let's
Thank you.
get back to it. So after you completed your qualification,
Hmm.
is that when you started the business?
Yeah, so I finished that in 2018,
Okay.
and then I think had a little time where I was just kind of consolidating everything because a lot was going on. I was
Mm-hmm.
obviously single mom. I was seeing someone, but again, that was kind of up and down. I was working, so I left a bit of time before I actually started my PT business. So
Okay.
I think I started it beginning of 2020. That was the year I was going to launch everything, but then
Okay.
obviously COVID happened.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of change things up a little bit. So I initially started off by offering like Zoom PTs, well,
Okay.
fitness
Yeah.
sessions and classes. So I did like resistance band classes online. I
Mm-hmm.
did like yoga, sorry, yoga
Yeah.
sessions. So I did all that during like lockdown period. And then I think it was maybe 2021, 22 after we come out of lockdown and we could actually start going out. That's when I actually launched my proper like my classes, and I found a space that
Okay.
I
Yeah.
could do my gym classes and things like that.
Okay, so how did you find balancing business and motherhood? And would you say you're someone that like had like a lot of support with
Yeah,
raising your daughter, especially at the tender age of like 3, 4, and 5?
yeah,
Or was it like majority of the pressure was on you? Like, what was your experience with growing up your daughter?
it was hard juggling everything. I did thankfully have a lot of support
Yeah.
from like my mom, my dad, my nan. Both my nans actually. My one nan's passed away now,
Oh,
but
sorry for your
oh,
loss.
thank you. So yeah, had a lot of support. My little sister as well. She would babysit sometimes. So I was never kind of short of childcare. There was always
Okay.
someone, and my cousin as well. In fact, my cousin, she helped me a lot, especially when I was doing my PT
Okay.
qualification
Yeah.
because that was on the weekends. So my cousin would always have my daughter for me on the weekends, so I could go and do my
Yeah.
PT qualification. So there was a lot of support, but I guess it's like it's the day-to-day stuff that's the hardest. Um, like the coming home after work, doing the dinner,
Mhm.
doing the homework, all of that stuff when you haven't got a partner and it's just kind of you having to do it
Mhm.
because obviously your mum's not there, your dad's not there. Those are the hardest bits.
No, I completely understand. I feel like, we can have a support network, but there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be certain things that we are going to end up doing by
Yeah,
ourselves.
100%.
Because everyone still works, everyone still
Yeah.
has, and yes, they'll be able to help out and stuff, but there
Yeah.
are times when you're like, okay, this is going to be difficult,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to do it.
Yeah.
Or I'm too tired to do this, but I have
You
to do
have
it.
to
And
do
that
it.
is part of motherhood, isn't it? It's
Mm-hmm.
like you're always putting your child first. It's
100%.
you're no longer the priority,
Mm-mm.
but I guess it is really important to still look after your mental and
Yeah,
your physical health. So I'm
definitely.
aware that you have a business called Melanin Moods.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a bit more about that and how it started?
Yeah, so Melanin Moods is a CIC that I run with my friend, business partner, Chanel, or Dr. Chanel. So that kind of started from an idea we had when we were both working at a university and we were
Yeah.
both working in the student support services. So
Okay.
um, I was a mental health nurse at the time. I'm now a therapist, and Chanel was a therapist at the time. She's now a
Okay.
clinical psychologist. And we just wanted to kind of bring something to the community that would, I guess, empower Black people
Mhm.
and give them support with their mental well-being, because for so long we've seen for ourselves, obviously being
Mhm.
professionals in that service, that there's just not a lot of support out there for Black people, and there's a lot of stigma around talking about mental health, and Black people often, well, we're suffering because we're either not getting the support, or we're not, the support that's there isn't meeting our needs.
Okay. Yeah.
So we decided to kind of put together this CIC. So we offer workshops, we offer events, we offer different programs
Mhm.
that are kind of tailored to our community. So we've got loads of different things, especially this year we've got planned. But yeah, our most, I guess, popular programs are, we've got something called Barbershop Chronicles. So
Okay.
that's a men's mental health
Mhm.
space that we operate in a barbershop in West Brom. So every third Wednesday of the month, we just get together, Black men only,
Mhm.
and we just talk about different topics to do with mental health. So talk about things like anger, we talk about depression,
Yeah.
suicide, relationships. We do a similar one for women as well,
Okay. Yeah.
which we hold at a hairdresser salon. And then every quarter we do something called Convos and Cocktails, which
Okay.
is like an event for everyone to come
Mhm.
to. And again, we have different topics. So we've spoke about like suicide, we've spoke about relationships.
Mhm.
What else we talk? Spoke about like mental health in general in the Black community.
Okay, yeah. So it sounds like you've always been like really busy. You've
Yeah.
had like 10 things going on
Yeah.
at one time, but you're just
Always.
a busybody. You like to keep busy.
Mm-hmm.
You like to be productive
Yeah.
and make progress, I guess, and like elevate yourself, which is
Yeah.
really good. What
Thanks.
would you say, how do you handle like, your relationship with your daughter, like
Yeah.
with everything that's going on? Do you
Yeah.
find that you still have enough time to spend with her? Do you feel like you
Yeah.
could spend more time with her? Like,
Yeah.
what's the current situation?
I guess I'm really lucky in that my daughter is the age that she is now because she's so independent. I think I could always spend more time with her, and you always have that mum guilt where you feel like you're not doing enough. But as I said, I'm really lucky. She's really independent. She kind of does her own thing now. She goes out with her
Yeah.
friends. Obviously they've got social media, so she's always talking to her friends. I guess it's harder for her being an only child as well.
Mm.
She doesn't have any siblings, well, not from me anyway, um, who are around. But she's she's really independent. So I'm thankful that I
Yeah.
can.
Mhm.
Maybe if it was a few years ago and she was a bit younger, it would be a lot more difficult. I
Mhm.
probably wouldn't be able to do as much as I'm doing
Yeah.
now. But because she is at the age she is now, I just managed to do it.
Yeah. So what would you say is like the easiest part of motherhood personally for you?
I don't think any of it's easy.
Yeah.
It's all hard, but I guess what's the easiest part of motherhood? Um, I'd say at the moment the easiest part is her being independent at this age now,
Yeah.
just being able to kind of take that step back and knowing that she can kind of do things for herself a
Mhm.
little bit more. And always just having someone there, like knowing that obviously I've got my daughter. I've always got my daughter, kind of thing. I have got quite a few friends who are around me
Yeah.
who are my age now who don't have kids and really want kids. So I guess I'm really thankful that I did have my daughter when I had her, because you know, I don't know what the future's going to hold if I am going to have any more kids. So I'm really thankful that I do have her.
Yeah. So what would you say, like, in terms of, you know, like your experience with parenting and stuff,
Yeah.
would you say that there's anyone that's intervened or like tried to guide you? And have you ever seen it like as positive or negative? Have you got like a
Yeah.
bit irritated? So, you know, someone gets in your space a bit
Yeah.
too much. Like, have you felt that feeling, or how have you
Yeah.
felt when people have intervened?
Yeah.
What's your experience been with that?
I would say definitely, like, I know it comes from a good place, but sometimes my mum.
Yeah.
But I think that's just mums in general,
Yeah.
like, because they've been there, they've done it as well. That it's always mum knows best, and yeah, sometimes she does know the best, but also like I need to learn for myself. I
Yeah.
need to make some mistakes in order to learn from them, and I'm the mum kind of thing. So there have been times where she has tried to kind of not say overstep, but tell me to do something with regards to my daughter. I'm like, I want to do things my way because I'm the mum. I'm the one who's here with her, you know, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So there have been some little conflicts there.
And what have you done in that situation?
I guess it's just about taking yourself out of that situation. I moved out when I was, how old did I move out? I think I was about 23. So
Yeah.
my daughter was probably maybe 1.
Okay. Yeah.
So I moved out, moved in with my daughter's dad. Then that broke down, so I moved back home. And then it was at home was just like, I think when you're used to having your own space and your independence,
And then
and
you
then you have
go
to go
back
back
home.
home
Yeah.
and you have to live by someone else's rules again, it's really hard. So I was only at home for a few months, and then I moved back out again.
Yeah. And how did you feel mentally during that time?
Drained.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. Obviously, ending my relationship with my daughter's dad was a lot anyway, and then going back to a place where there were rules and, you know, things that got to be done a certain way when I was used to doing it my own way in my own home. That was hard, but I was still thankful that I could still go home, if you get what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I know that no matter what happens, if I need to, I can always go back home. And I guess that's something that I want to instill in my daughter as well. I want her to know that wherever she is, whatever's happening, whatever she's going through, she's
That's her safe
always, yeah, she
space.
can
Yeah.
always come back home.
Yeah. So, and I guess, you know, your experience has really created that
Yeah.
kind of strong thought, hasn't it?
Hopefully, yeah.
And what would you say has been the easiest part of raising a teen specifically? So I know that you said, you know, like now is the hardest part when you
Yeah.
think of, you know, motherhood altogether. And since your baby's been born, well, she's not a baby anymore. She's a teenager.
She's a teenager now.
She'll be an adult in 4 years.
Oh, she already thinks she's an adult.
So, like, what would you say has been the easiest part of
I
raising a
guess
teenager?
seeing how the work that I've put into her is playing out now, like her morals, the things that she stands for, the things that she believes in. She's, as I said, she's really smart, and she's very. When I say she's very caring, like there's been situations where she's like been in school and people have been, you know, racist or homophobic or things like that, and she's kind of stood her ground and been really like, you know, that's not right. You shouldn't be saying things like that. So seeing things like that makes my heart feel full, because I know that that's all the hard work I've put into her kind of playing out. So that's nice to see. What else is easy about being a mom to a teenager? Yeah, I would say mainly is just her being independent and having her own mind, and just she's very strong-willed.
Yeah, that's
So,
good.
yeah.
Would you say there's been any times, whether it's through your pregnancy, whether it's through you know, when your baby was first born, or like any times when you've literally broke down and you've been like, I can't take this anymore? Have you had moments like that, and could you share a moment with us, please?
Yeah, definitely there's been moments like that. When I was pregnant, I had many, many moments like that, just feeling like it was all too much because there was so much that I was trying to cope with at the time. definitely times when I was living with my daughter's dad and he was going on with his foolishness, and it was kind of me at home with my daughter and trying to get through uni, trying to juggle work at the same time. And I just thought, I can't do this anymore. Not even that I can't, I don't want to do it anymore. And then even, I guess, recently when my daughter was having a few issues at school,
Okay.
just people, again, because as I said, she's so strong-willed and she's so righteous. There were some girls can be really horrible at school. Kids can be mean. And she was having a few difficulties at school, and you just feel helpless, like when you know there's nothing that you can really do,
Yeah.
because you can't change other people's kids. You can't make them be nice to your child. So there were definitely times, even more recently, when I thought, "Oh, I can't, what can I do?" kind of
Yeah.
thing. But as I said, thankfully everything's worked out. She managed to get into a different school and she's thriving. She loves it.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so you're now a trained psychotherapist,
Yeah,
is that
that's
right?
right.
Okay. And I'm guessing you've learned a lot about mental health
Yeah.
and stuff. What would you say is really important about, a mom's mental health?
I would say definitely, as much as we obviously need to prioritize our kids, we have to prioritize ourselves first, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. Like, until you're well, physically, mentally, emotionally, until all your needs are being met, or at least majority of those needs are
Yeah.
being met, you're not going to be able to be the best parent to your child. So I know we try, and there's this kind of stereotype that as women or as moms, kids should be our number one priority, and we have to do everything for our kids, and our kids have to be our whole world, which I agree to some extent, but you have to be you first, because you were a mom. You were you before you were a
Yeah.
mom. So I would say, make sure that you're prioritizing yourself first, doing things that make you feel good, make you feel happy, bring you joy. Because all kids need a happy parent, need a happy mom.
Yeah.
So yeah, look after your physical health. Even if you don't like going to the gym, just make sure you're being active. Make sure you're eating well, because if you're not eating well, that's not going to benefit you or your kids.
Yeah, 100%.
Make sure you're getting sleep. So I know that's hard, especially if you've got young children.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Listen, my son wants to wake up every hour. Like,
oh no.
I'm just there like this, like trying to keep my eyes open.
Oh, bless her.
But I guess, you know what? I feel like it actually goes quite quick. That bit of that stage. Once you
does.
get to like 1 year old and you got your little routine, even
Yeah.
though the routine, you can't always keep the routine. I
Yeah.
can't, like, there's some nights when my son is literally up till like midnight and he's wide awake and I'm
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? Like, get
Yeah.
to bed. I want to go to bed. You need to get to bed.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it does happen.
Of
but
course.
obviously, I feel like forming a routine and trying to stick to it when you can definitely makes a difference. And the sleep issue, I feel like it's more when they're really young, if that makes sense.
And I guess when, like, sometimes when they're sick, or if they're going through teething, you get that kind of regression when they start waking up again. But trying to make sure that you're getting enough sleep, whatever's enough for you, because I know there's like recommended 7 hours a day or something like that. Some people can survive on less.
You know what's crazy? I was actually watching a documentary. I love documentaries.
Do you?
I'm literally like obsessed with documentaries.
Yeah.
I was watching a documentary about keeping yourself healthy.
Yeah.
And they were talking about, hours of sleep and how like that can affect, like, you're more prone to like certain diseases and stuff like that if you don't get a certain amount of hours.
Yeah.
So for example, my nan, like, she survives off 5 hours of sleep and she's like, I don't need no more sleep. Every day she gets up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
I don't know why older people do that,
She's like, I don't, but I'm like, now I'm going to tell her, now I've watched
Yeah.
that documentary, I'm going to tell you need to sleep longer.
Oh, bless.
Because I'm that type of person. I will see something and I'll be like, okay, so I'm going to change this.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I seen like disease and this and that. And then now I'm going to be more into myself and even the babies as well. Because sometimes, say, I don't know, if the routine didn't happen today and the baby falls asleep at 12, for example, or say like my 1-year-old falls asleep at 12, he's still going to wake up at 6 o'clock screaming down the place, like, or singing his life away, literally. And But now I've watched this documentary, 6 hours of sleep is not enough.
Mm-mm.
And you are prone to like more things,
Mm-hmm.
like diseases and health issues and stuff, if
Yeah,
you don't sleep for long enough.
100%.
So,
Because that's when your body recovers at the end of the day. Like,
yeah.
that's when most of your recovery time kind of happens when you're
Mm-hmm.
sleeping. So if you're not getting enough sleep, then your body is constantly going to be running on empty all the time. So
100%, yeah.
yeah,
I seen another thing as well
yeah,
about your body eating away itself.
yeah.
So I would definitely say, like, in pregnancy, I
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of things happen, like, personally.
Okay.
And there was times when I was really upset,
Yeah.
and I literally, like, I, didn't eat for parts of my
Mm.
pregnancy, or like I wouldn't eat for maybe like half a day or a whole
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And it's actually scary, like, to know that your body actually eats itself, like,
Yeah.
if you don't eat.
Because it goes in starvation mode at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it starts like eating your fat supplies and things like that.
Yeah, and then you literally feel the pressure as well of the baby, like saying like I'm hungry,
Yeah.
don't you? And then you get
Yeah.
a stomach ache and stuff. Would you say that you've gone through little stages where you
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
eaten?
100%. Like, back when I was pregnant, as I said, I know like I was feeling really anxious. I remember like just not say giving up, but almost feeling like, what is the point? Like, and really not really eating properly, not being able to really sleep
Yeah.
properly just because there was so much going on. Um, but knowing now what I know, that was just making things a million
Mm-hmm.
times worse because, as I said, if you're not sleeping and you're not eating, if you're not eating well, your body physically can't make those hormones that are going to make you feel good
Okay,
because
yeah.
those hormones are made in your gut. So your serotonin, your dopamine, all those feel good hormones. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
eating or you're not eating the right things, your body can't make those hormones that are going to make you feel good. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely making sure that you're eating and sleeping. That's the foundation of everything.
So would you say that your mental health deteriorated at any point?
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
and tell
Definitely.
me something that you've experienced, whilst
Yeah.
that was going on.
So I would say it would probably after, like, when I was in the relationship with my daughter's dad,
Mm-hmm.
um, that was probably when I was at my lowest. Definitely was suffering from probably depression, anxiety. Um, but as I said, at the time, I don't really remember much of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just in that survival mode. I was doing my nursing degree at that
Mm-hmm.
time. I was also trying to work because the relationship that I was in, he gambled. So financially we was struggling, and when you're doing a nursing degree, you obviously have to do placement. So
Mm-hmm.
you're working like as a nurse would, probably like 3 long day shifts.
Yeah.
But then I was also having to do like a part-time job on top of that because
You was a
financially,
real hustler,
yeah.
wasn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So I had to do a part-time job plus obviously my daughter, looking after her because
Mm-hmm.
he was useless.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't, honestly, I can't, when I think back to it, I can't remember much of it. It was just, my mind has just blocked it out, I
Mm.
guess.
Okay, so what would you say is good, like, coping mechanisms for moms, like,
Yeah.
that are struggling mentally,
Mhm.
whether it's in pregnancy
Yeah.
or whilst raising their child?
Yeah. I would say definitely having a good social support network around you.
Mm-hmm.
I know that not everyone has that, um, especially like maybe not family. Some people might not be close to their family, but just having at least one good person that you can talk to. Um, if you've got young kids, maybe going to like stay in play groups or nurseries, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. Just being able to have someone on your side who you can talk to and who you can vent to. Um, Keeping active, definitely. I
Mm-hmm.
always advocate for being active, whether it's going to the gym, going to fitness classes, just doing something that's going to move your body, even if it's just going for a walk,
Mm-hmm.
taking the kids out, having a little run around in the
Yeah.
park, doing something that's going to keep you active and get your body moving, because that's going to, again, release those hormones that are going to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Um, Journaling, so writing
Okay.
things down.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that safe space or that person to talk to, actually just writing things down and reflecting on them can be really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and again, just doing something just for you, because I think as moms, again, we always kind of push our needs, our wants to the side and focus on putting the kids as the priority. But
100%.
yeah, it happens, and again, it's because
It's
that's
like
what.
a natural instinct,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is.
It
It
literally
is,
is.
and there's nothing wrong with that. But as I said, like society will tell you, your kids are your priority,
Mm-hmm.
which is true to an extent, but you still need to be your priority. So just
Yeah.
making sure that you're giving yourself that love and support and care,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's just, go and get your nails done or having a nice bath in peace, reading a good
Yeah.
book, just doing something just for you.
You know what's crazy? Like, to people that don't have kids,
Yeah.
like if they hear, oh, like for me, like even going to shops is therapy. Like when I
Yeah.
take my half an hour, 45 minutes, and I go and do a food shop and I'm away from the kids,
Yeah.
that is so therapeutic to me.
Yeah.
Whereas other people will be like, you're just going for a shop.
Yeah.
Even getting my nails done. Like, I don't
Yeah.
get my nails done very often, but
Yeah.
I was in the nail shop the other day and it was so therapeutic. Like, these things mean so much
They
more
do.
once you have a child.
They do.
The smallest things,
Yeah.
you're so grateful for them.
You do.
And you just really need that space out. It's not...
100%.
So would you say, in terms of, having that time with you, because you mentioned, like if you're a single mom and you've got this and you've got that on your plate, would you say it's still important, even if you are like in a relationship or you've got a lot of support, like would you say having that time with yourself is still important?
100%. I, even when I have been in relationships, I'm in a relationship now, so I still make sure I find time for myself. For me, it's going to the gym, going out with my friends. Also, you know what my therapy is?
What?
After do you drive?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will sit outside my house in my car for like a good half an hour.
Just the heating on full
Heating
blast.
on,
Literally
music
just,
on,
yeah.
Sometimes I won't even be on my phone. Sometimes I'll just be sitting there, just like, just breathing.
You know what's crazy? I don't even know. The other day I seen on someone's story how they were like, just had to sit in the car and think about my thoughts or this plan or whatever. I seen that the other day, but it is definitely therapeutic.
100%.
100%, yeah. So I've got some advice from the moms that came on the podcast last, and I'm going to read it out to you.
Okay.
It says, be yourself, you are you, and that is your power. Your child/children only know you, so keep being the best version of yourself.
Okay.
It says there's no manual to motherhood. Keep shining. From DXX.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. Yeah. That's very true.
So, what I'd like you to do is write a piece of advice for the next mum that comes on this show.
Okay.
And if you could just write your signature at the bottom, please.
Okay. Thank you. Do I have to say it to you? Oh, no. Don't. No. Okay.
Secret. If you guys can see me pulling faces, like the camera crew right now is just pulling faces at me, so I'm pulling faces back at them.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Talisa.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you. I know that you're going to inspire many.
Hopefully.
You've definitely inspired me.
Thank you.
And the lesson I've taken from today is I need to do more. That's the lesson I've taken. No, honestly.
You don't need to do more. Just do more of what makes you feel good.
Yeah. But it was great speaking to you, and it was nice to have that professional side as well, especially with the mental health.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on the show today.
And good luck with the rest of the podcast.
Thank you.